Eichhorn's arrest and resignation, the Minnesota Senate District 6 seat is now vacant.
The Senate 6 runs from Grand Rapids southwest into the Brainerd Lakes area into communities like Cross Lake, Pequot Lakes, and Nisswa. Two more candidates announced plans to run for that seat today, including Jennifer Carnahan, who once served as the Minnesota GOP chair.
After that role ended with controversy and resignation from Carnahan, Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes spoke with her this afternoon about the decision to jump back into politics.
The Minnesota DFL released this scathing review of former GOP chairwoman Jennifer Carnahan's run for the Minnesota Senate Monday, calling her candidacy disgraceful. Monday, the widow of late Congressman Jim Hagedorn responded.
It's absurd, ridiculous, and completely false for the MNDFL to suggest my candidacy has any connection to a past Republican donor.
Carnahan's relationship with convicted sex trafficker Anton Lazzaro has been described as a friendship by some, something Carnahan denies.
You know, that individual gave money to, I don't know, countless of Republican candidates all over the country. My connection to him is no different than anyone else that received a contribution from him.
She says it's insulting to suggest she resigned because of her connection to Lazzaro, and that she instead stepped down to spend more time with her late husband. Now, Carnahan serves as mayor of Nisswa and hopes to serve an even larger area if elected to Senate District 6.
Because of my connectivity to local people and just really being in touch with what's going on in the community, people felt that I was the right voice to step forward.
Carnahan says if elected, she will work to improve the economy and lower taxes. In Duluth, Ryan Hayes, Northern News Now.
Another candidate has joined